represents the second portion of 1.2, which is your order of operations. Our past lesson talked about how to deal with problems including addition and subtraction only. We learned how to view addition and subtraction to students. We talked about since addition and subtraction, or since students are the lowest level in a school, that you feed them based off of who is in line first, and so that helped us to kind of understand that part. But in terms of multiplication and division, in the order of operations, the first level, which would be the bottom level of operations, is addition and subtraction. They are the weakest operations in the order of operations. The second level, which would be a level above them, so they're strong operations but not the strongest, is multiplication and division. So again, your lower level is addition subtraction. That's where the AS comes from. The second level is multiplication division. But again, what I said in yesterday's lesson was that these two are grouped and those two are grouped, and that is true. So again, addition subtraction are like the lowest level. They are the same level, so you have to work them out in order. And what we will find is that multiplication also is in the same situation, where you feed or you deal with whoever is first in line there. So the essential question here is, how does incorporating multiplication and division change what we've already learned? Because they are a higher level, they become a first priority over every addition and subtraction sign. In other words, we don't even touch addition and subtraction until multiplication and division are completely worked out, done. Once the multiplication and division are done, or worked out, simplified, you do what we did before, which is just go front to back on your addition subtraction. Again, once multiplication and division are worked out, work out addition and subtraction based off of who was first. So if we thought of addition and subtraction as students in the lunch line, we should think of multiplication and division as teachers. In most schools, because teachers have things to do, if there was a line of 50 students waiting for food, but the teachers have to make copies and get their rooms ready, and plus we only usually have about 30 minutes a lot of times to eat, they allow teachers to walk in front of students all the way to the front. So overall, teachers are going to be fed before students every time. That is where I tell you that you want to make sure you understand multiplication and division first priority. So it doesn't matter if there are any addition subtraction symbols, because the teachers, the multiplication and division cut in line, they get dealt with first. Alright, so all teachers should be fed before students. Just remember that. But if there is more than one teacher in line, how do we determine who to feed first? We simply feed the first teacher in line. So what I mean by that is, if a male teacher walked up to the line and his food was getting prepared, and a female teacher walked up and got to be right behind him, she doesn't just get to jump in front of him because they are both teachers. Just like a male teacher cannot jump in front of a female teacher because they are both teachers. So again, teachers go first, but they go based off of who showed up first, and then students go second based off of who showed up first also. So looking at this situation, I had to write in a vertical format because I couldn't get all the names in there. But anybody who has the regular names, James, Samantha, Roy, Max, are all students. Mr. Jones, Mrs. Robinson, Mr. Knox, Miss Lindsay are all teachers. So if this is how they showed up to the lunch line and the food hadn't been served yet, the first person that's going to get food is not James, because James is a student. Mr. Jones, who is the first teacher in line, would get fed first. After Mr. Jones gets fed, we look for another teacher, or another VIP, as I would say, in the room or in the line, and that would be Mrs. Robinson, because she is also a teacher. She has things to do. She has to get her plate and go. The next person to get a plate, again, would be VIP, would be Mr. Knox, because he has things to do and has to get his plate and move on. After Mr. Knox would be Miss Lindsay. And once all the teachers have been fed, we do what we did yesterday. The fifth plate goes to Max, then Samantha, then James, then Samantha, then Roy, then Max. So again, if you notice, all we did was feed the teachers in order like we did yesterday, and then we went back and fed the students in order. And that is honestly how easy it is. You just have to make sure you practice it and make sure you know what's going on. I believe this is also in your notes. When it comes to multiplication and division, work out the one that is first in line. So again, I did not jump past Mr. Jones because Mrs. Robinson was a female. I went to Mr. Jones, fed him, then Miss Robinson, then Mr. Knox, then Miss Lindsay. What that means is, just because you see these signs here, it means you go here first, here second, here third. You don't say multiplication, multiplication, division, and jump over one for another one. You keep your order the same based off of who is there. Alright? So your overall plan for this, I believe this is also on your notes. You want to work out all of your multiplication and division first. Again, the way I showed you, which is in order. And then work out all of your addition and subtraction afterwards. Take care of your multiplication division first, and then work out your addition subtraction. The examples we're looking at here, again, what we see here is a plus sign. Once we see a multiple, again, you're looking for the first VIP in line. The first VIP in line here is division, and so you write 9 plus, and that's why you underline the 10 divided by 2. That turns into 5 times 5 minus 5. Again, scanning this problem, we have another VIP, which is a teacher. We get 9 plus 25 minus 5. Now that all the teachers are gone, what we do is we do what we did yesterday, which is work it out in order, or in our last lesson, which is work it out in order, getting the answer of 29. Easy enough to do, you just got to practice it. Be careful though when you see this, because a lot of students confuse this as a parentheses. That is not, that's just a fancy way of writing 2 times 10. And so when you scan this, the first VIP in line here is division. So it turns to 6 plus 10, parentheses 10, divided by 25. First VIP in line here is multiplication. So 6 plus 100 divided by 25. First VIP in line here is your 100 divided by 25, which is 4. And now that we have everything down to one operation, you simply add 6 plus 4 to get the answer of 10. Again, be sure to be pausing and rewinding this so you understand it. I just have to make sure my video is not 20 minutes long. Third example, again, that's not parentheses, that's just a multiplication. So you have 2 times 6 divided by 3 plus 1. But the first VIP here is your 2 times 6 because that's the first operation that's higher than addition and subtraction. So we rewrite our 5 minus 3 plus, turn 2 times 6 into 12, divided by 3 plus 1. VIP is also here, 12 divided by 3, so 5 minus 3 plus 4 plus 1. And again, once all the multiplication and division are gone, do what we did on the last lesson, which is work them out in order to get our answer. Last example for this lesson. First VIP in line is 4 times 2. Rewrite everything else. The hardest part of doing this is typically the rewriting, because a lot of us like to rush through things, and so just make sure you take your time when you're doing this. First VIP in line here is 6 divided by 3, so 8 minus 2 plus 8 divided by 2 parentheses 2. First VIP in line here is your 8 divided by 2. Again, don't do that first because that's just multiplication, and you do not jump over division for multiplication. So 8 minus 2 plus 4 parentheses 2. VIP is over here, your multiplication, so 8 minus 2 plus 8, which now that all that's gone, you go front to back, 6 plus 8, which is 14. In terms of your final thought, be careful not to overwhelm yourself with the numbers and operations. Just focus on what should be done first and rewrite. And then do it again based off of who's first and then rewrite. If you look at our problems, once I identified who was first and rewrote it, all I had to do was look and say who's first now and rewrite it, and then look again and say who's first now and rewrite it, and then just do that over and over. Don't try to look at this thing and say who's first, who's second, who's third. Just make your decision for whoever gets dealt with first. Simplify that one part, rewrite it, and then continue that until you get down to the easy part, which is where it just turns into one number and your problem's done. So again, make sure you do as much as you can to ask questions about what's going on. Test is coming up quickly, so again, take your time, but be efficient. Make sure you're asking questions and not just wasting time, because you need to understand this stuff. Other than that, good luck.